Jae-sung Park sat in the sterile conference room, his heart racing faster than the quantum processors he designed. The room's cold white walls seemed to close in around him as Hyun-woo Kim, the senior executive of Starbridge Technologies, delivered the most devastating news of his young career. "We're terminating your employment, effective immediately," Hyun-woo said, sliding a thick document across the polished glass table. His voice was calm, almost bored, as if firing brilliant young engineers was nothing more than a routine task. Jae-sung's hands trembled slightly as he picked up the termination notice. He had been working on a revolutionary quantum drive modification that could potentially reduce interstellar travel time by over 60%. His research was meticulous, his calculations precise. Yet here he was, being dismissed without a second thought. "But the data proves my design works," Jae-sung protested, his voice cracking with a mixture of frustration and disbelief. "The simulation models show a 68.3% improvement in quantum fold efficiency." Hyun-woo leaned back in his ergonomic chair, a thin smile playing on his lips. "Theoretical improvements mean nothing in our industry, Mr. Park. We cannot risk our company's reputation on unproven concepts." The words felt like physical blows. Jae-sung had spent 3 years developing this technology, sacrificing personal relationships, sleep, and countless personal opportunities. His entire professional life had been dedicated to this single breakthrough. As if the termination wasn't devastating enough, Hyun-woo continued, "We're also filing a comprehensive lawsuit to prevent you from developing this technology independently. Any attempt to pursue your research will result in immediate legal action." The lawsuit would effectively destroy Jae-sung's professional reputation. No major technology firm would dare hire an engineer under such legal scrutiny. His career, which had once seemed so promising, was now in ruins. Jae-sung remembered the countless nights he had spent in the research lab, running simulations, recalibrating quantum algorithms, and pushing the boundaries of current technological understanding. His team had believed in his vision. Young, brilliant minds who saw beyond the conventional limitations of space travel. Now those dreams were being crushed by corporate bureaucracy and short-sighted management. "You're making a mistake," Jae-sung said quietly, gathering his remaining dignity. "This technology could change everything we understand about interstellar travel." Hyun-woo's laugh was cold and dismissive. "Young engineers always think they know better. But in this industry, experience trumps theoretical brilliance." As Jae-sung walked out of the Starbridge Technologies headquarters, he felt a mixture of anger, disappointment, and an unexpected sense of determination. They might have taken his job, but they couldn't take his knowledge or his passion. The city outside was bustling with technological energy. Holographic advertisements danced across building surfaces, showcasing the latest space exploration technologies. Sleek quantum transportation pods zipped through elevated tracks, a constant reminder of the technological world that had just rejected him. In his small apartment that evening, surrounded by design blueprints and quantum computation journals, Jae-sung made a decision. He would not let Starbridge Technologies bury his research. Somehow, he would prove the value of his quantum drive modification. Little did Hyun-woo Kim know, but this termination was not an end. It was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything the corporate world believed about innovation and technological progress. Jae-sung opened his personal computer and began reorganizing his research. The lawsuit might restrict his immediate options, but it couldn't erase the knowledge in his mind. Somewhere out there, someone would recognize the potential of his work. The quantum drive modification wasn't just a technical improvement. It was a gateway to reimagining human potential in space exploration, and Jae-sung was determined to see it become a reality, no matter the obstacles. As the city lights flickered outside his window, casting shadows across his research documents, Jae-sung Park smiled. This was not a defeat. This was the first chapter of a much larger story. 3 weeks after his termination, Jae-sung found himself in a small, dimly lit cafe on the outskirts of the city. The place was tucked away from the main streets, frequented by tech workers and independent researchers who lived on the margins of corporate technology. Seok-Jin Lee sat across from him, nursing a cold cup of coffee. He was another engineer who had been pushed out of the mainstream tech industry, known for challenging established systems. His reputation preceded him, a programmer who refused to play by corporate rules. "They tried to break you too," Jae-sung said, sliding his quantum drive research notes across the table. The papers were carefully protected in a worn leather folder, each page representing months of meticulous work. Seok-Jin examined the documents, his eyes scanning the complex equations and technical diagrams. A slow smile spread across his face. "This is more than just good research. This is revolutionary." Their conversation was quiet, careful. The cafe's background noise provided a perfect cover for their discussion. Around them, holographic displays flickered with news about space exploration, corporate announcements, and technological breakthroughs. "We need a network," Seok-Jin explained. "People who have been pushed out but still believe in real innovation. Corporate systems are killing creativity." Over the next few days, Jae-sung and Seok-Jin began connecting with other marginalized engineers. They used encrypted communication channels, private forums, and carefully managed digital meetups. Each person brought unique skills: software engineers, quantum physicists, hardware designers, and system architects. Their first meeting happened in an abandoned warehouse on the city's industrial edge. Old manufacturing equipment stood silent, serving as makeshift workstations. Laptops, custom-built computers, and complex networking gear filled the space. Mira Kim, a brilliant data systems expert, brought critical infrastructure knowledge. Dong-Hoon Park contributed advanced cooling system designs. Each member had been rejected by mainstream tech companies, each carrying a story of corporate limitation and personal frustration. "We're not just building technology," Jae-sung told the group during their first full assembly. "We're building a platform for genuine innovation." Their initial focus was Jae-sung's quantum drive modification. They divided the research, each member taking specific components to develop, test, and improve. Communication was strict. Encrypted messages, rotating digital meeting points, and absolute secrecy. Seok-Jin developed a custom communication platform that would be impossible for corporate systems to track. Mi-Ray created complex simulation environments to test the quantum drive theories. Dong-Hoon worked on potential hardware implementations. Resources were limited. Some members contributed personal savings, others traded skills and time. They used open-source hardware, recycled research equipment, and leveraged collective knowledge instead of expensive corporate resources. Weeks turned into months. Their underground network grew slowly, carefully. They weren't just developing technology. They were building a community of innovators who refused to be silenced by corporate control. The Quantum Drive project became more than a technical challenge. It represented resistance against a system that valued profit over genuine technological advancement. Each line of code, each design modification, was an act of technological rebellion. Starbridge Technologies had no idea what was brewing in the abandoned warehouse. Their legal team was focused on preventing Jae-sung from working, never imagining he was assembling a network of the most talented rejected engineers in the region. "They think they can stop innovation by stopping individuals," Seok-Jin would often say. "But they don't understand. True progress can't be contained." As winter settled over the city, their network continued growing. More engineers heard about their project through whispered recommendations and carefully managed digital channels. Each new member brought fresh perspectives, additional skills. Jae-sung looked around the warehouse one evening, watching his team work. Laptops hummed, holographic displays showed complex quantum calculations, and the energy of possibility filled the space. This wasn't just a research project anymore. This was a movement. The quantum drive modification was evolving from a theoretical concept into something real, something that could genuinely change how humanity understood space travel. And no corporate lawsuit could stop what was happening in the small, hidden warehouse. The warehouse transformed into a makeshift high-tech laboratory over the next 6 months. Salvaged equipment, custom-built components, and pure determination filled every corner of their secret workspace. Jae-sung's quantum drive prototype began taking shape. What had once been complex mathematical equations on paper now existed as a tangible machine. Rough, unpolished, but potentially revolutionary. Yoon-ji Park, their data analysis expert, ran countless simulations. Her fingers moved rapidly across multiple holographic screens, testing every possible scenario. Each simulation brought them closer to understanding the true potential of their design. "Look at these numbers," she said one cold morning, her voice trembling with excitement. The team gathered around her screens. The data was extraordinary. Their quantum drive could potentially reduce interstellar travel time by over 70%. Seok-jin couldn't believe the results. "This changes everything," he whispered, tracing the complex graphs with his finger. The traditional quantum fold drives used by major corporations suddenly looked obsolete. Their breakthrough wasn't just about speed. The new design required significantly less energy, created minimal quantum disturbance, and could potentially make long-distance space travel more accessible and affordable. Dong-hoon worked on the physical prototype, combining advanced cooling systems with innovative quantum stabilization technology. Each component was carefully selected, often repurposed from discarded equipment, or created using 3D printing technologies. The team worked in shifts. Some members had day jobs to support the project, returning late at night to continue their research. Others committed full-time, living on minimal resources and maximum passion. One critical night, during a marathon testing session, the prototype suddenly hummed to life. The quantum field generators began responding in ways they had only theoretically predicted. Jae-sung held his breath, watching the initial readings. "We're seeing stable quantum fold generation," Yoon-ji announced, her voice a mixture of scientific precision and pure wonder. The machine was doing something no previous design had achieved, creating a smooth, predictable quantum fold without massive energy consumption. Their success came with risks. They knew Starbridge Technologies would do anything to suppress this technology. Each breakthrough brought potential danger. Each successful test increased the likelihood of corporate interference. May-Ray developed additional security protocols. Their research was distributed across multiple encrypted networks, backed up in locations corporate investigators could never trace. No single point of failure could destroy their work. The prototype wasn't perfect. Multiple iterations would be needed. But for the first time, they had concrete proof that their concept worked. The quantum drive was more than a theoretical possibility. It was becoming reality. Jae-sung remembered the day he was fired, the cold conference room, Hyun-woo's dismissive attitude. Now, surrounded by his team, he understood that true innovation couldn't be stopped by corporate decisions. Their underground network had transformed from a group of rejected engineers into something much more significant. They were technological revolutionaries, challenging the established systems of space exploration. The quantum drive prototype sat in the center of their workspace, a testament to collective human potential. It represented months of hard work, countless sleepless nights, and an unwavering belief that innovation transcends corporate boundaries. "We're ready for the next phase," Jae-sung announced one evening. The team looked at him, a mixture of exhaustion and pure excitement in their eyes. They had done something most people would have considered impossible. Outside the warehouse, the city continued its technological dance. Quantum transportation pods moved through elevated tracks, holographic advertisements flickered, and space exploration companies continued their standard operations. None of them knew that inside this small, unassuming building, a technological revolution was taking shape. A group of rejected engineers was about to change everything they understood about space travel. The quantum drive prototype hummed softly, a quiet promise of incredible journeys waiting to be discovered. Hyun-woo Kim slammed his hand on the conference table, causing the holographic displays to flicker. Starbridge Technologies had discovered traces of Jae-sung's underground network, and the implications were terrifying. Find them, he ordered his team of corporate investigators. Shut down every possible communication channel. The quantum drive research had become more than a personal vendetta. It was now an existential threat to their company's market dominance. Billions of dollars in existing technology contracts were at risk if Jae-sung's design proved viable. Corporate legal teams began preparing comprehensive lawsuits. They traced digital footprints, analyzed communication patterns, and deployed advanced tracking algorithms. But Jae-sung's team was always one step ahead. Seok-jin had designed their communication system to be virtually untraceable. Multiple encrypted layers, rotating digital identities, and decentralized information storage made traditional corporate investigation techniques useless. As Starbridge Technologies applied pressure, something unexpected happened. Other marginalized engineers, researchers, and independent technology groups began supporting Jae-sung's team. What started as a small resistance became a growing movement. Online forums buzzed with discussions about corporate technological suppression. Independent research collectives shared information about the quantum drive concept. Universities started showing interest in the revolutionary design. Mayray discovered that their research had caught the attention of smaller space exploration companies. These organizations, tired of paying excessive fees to major corporations, saw the quantum drive as a potential game-changer. "They're trying to break us," Jae-sung told his team during a secure meeting. "But every attempt makes our network stronger." Corporate attacks came from multiple directions. Legal threats arrived daily. Digital interference attempted to disrupt their communication channels. Financial pressure was applied to potential supporters and collaborators. But each attack only demonstrated the fragility of the existing technological ecosystem. Major corporations like Starbridge Technologies had grown comfortable, believing their market position was unassailable. Dong-hoon continued improving the quantum drive prototype. Each corporate attack seemed to fuel their determination. What began as a small research project was transforming into a full-scale technological revolution. Eun-ji mapped the potential economic impact of their technology. Her analysis showed that the quantum drive could reduce space exploration costs by nearly 60%. This wasn't just a technical improvement, it was an economic disruption. International space research organizations began showing quiet interest. Unofficial channels suggested that government-level research teams were monitoring the developments, watching how a small group of rejected engineers could challenge established technological paradigms. Starbridge Technologies escalated their response. They contacted professional networks, attempting to blacklist anyone associated with Jae-sung. They used their extensive corporate connections to create professional barriers. But the technology community was changing. Younger engineers and researchers were increasingly frustrated with corporate control. They saw Jae-sung's team as heroes challenging a broken system. Seok-jin developed additional protective technologies. Their research was now distributed across multiple global networks, making it impossible for a single corporation to completely suppress their work. "We're not just developing a technology," Jae-sung would often tell his team. "We're challenging an entire system of technological control." The corporate warfare intensified. Legal documents, digital attacks, professional intimidation. Starbridge Technologies used every possible method to stop the quantum drive project. But each attack only made their network stronger. More engineers joined, more resources were pooled, and the potential of their technology became increasingly apparent. Hyun-woo Kim realized, with growing frustration, that they were losing control of the narrative. What started as a simple termination and lawsuit had transformed into a technological rebellion. The quantum drive prototype continued developing, a silent testament to human potential and collective innovation. Corporate walls were crumbling, and a new era of technological possibility was emerging. In the small warehouse, surrounded by salvaged equipment and passionate engineers, the future of space exploration was being rewritten, one quantum calculation at a time. The courtroom buzzed with tension. Jae-sung sat quietly, surrounded by his team, facing the most important moment of their technological journey. Starbridge Technologies had finally brought their legal battle to a formal hearing. Hyunwoo Kim looked confident, dressed in an expensive suit, backed by a team of corporate lawyers. He believed their extensive resources would crush Jae-sung's small team of engineers. The first witness was Eun-ji Park. She presented their quantum drive research with remarkable clarity. Complex technical information became understandable, revealing the true potential of their technology. Her presentation showed how the quantum drive could revolutionize space travel, reducing costs and increasing efficiency. Seok-jin had prepared their legal defense meticulously. He demonstrated that every piece of research was original, developed independently, and did not violate any existing corporate patents. Each document was carefully authenticated, each calculation precisely explained. Technology experts invited to evaluate the research began showing genuine excitement. The quantum drive wasn't just a theoretical concept. It was a practical, revolutionary technology that could transform space exploration. As the hearing progressed, something unexpected happened. Independent research organizations and smaller space exploration companies started supporting Jae-sung's team. They saw the quantum drive as a breakthrough that could democratize space travel. Hyunwoo's strategy began crumbling. What was meant to be a simple lawsuit became a public examination of corporate technological suppression. Media outlets picked up the story, highlighting how a group of rejected engineers had developed something extraordinary. The quantum drive prototype was demonstrated live during the hearing. Its performance exceeded all expectations. Traditional corporate quantum drives looked primitive in comparison. The technological gap was clear and undeniable. Legal arguments revealed the depth of Starbridge Technologies' attempts to suppress innovation. Corporate emails, internal communications, and witness testimonies exposed a systemic approach to controlling technological development. Jae-sung remained calm throughout the proceedings. He wasn't just fighting a legal battle. He was challenging an entire system of technological control. Each moment in court was an opportunity to demonstrate the power of collective innovation. The judge, known for her understanding of technological developments, listened carefully. She recognized that this wasn't just a legal dispute. It was a landmark moment in technological history. When the final verdict came, it was decisive. Starbridge Technologies was found guilty of attempting to suppress technological innovation. Their lawsuit was dismissed, and Jae-sung's team was granted full rights to their quantum drive technology. More than a legal victory, it was a statement about the future of technological development. The hearing exposed the limitations of corporate control and celebrated independent innovation. Hyunwoo Kim was removed from his executive position. The corporate board recognized that his approach had not only failed, but had potentially cost the company its technological edge. Jae-sung established the Open Horizon Foundation, dedicated to supporting independent technological research. Their mission was clear: create platforms where innovation could flourish without corporate interference. The quantum drive became the new standard for space exploration. Smaller companies, independent research teams, and forward-thinking organizations quickly adopted the technology. Space travel became more accessible, more efficient, and more affordable. Their underground network transformed from a small group of rejected engineers into a global movement of technological innovators. They had proven that true innovation comes from passion, collaboration, and an unwavering belief in human potential. Years later, when people discussed the revolution in space exploration, they would remember the story of Jae-sung and his team, a group of engineers who refused to be silenced, who transformed a corporate rejection into a technological breakthrough. The quantum drive sat in the Open Horizon Foundation's main laboratory, a reminder that innovation knows no boundaries and that human potential is limited only by imagination and determination. The universe had changed, and it all started in a small warehouse with a group of engineers who believed they could make a difference.